All right, guys, we're going to talk about our spelling assignment right now. We're in chapter 28. We're talking about plurals and how we make plurals. For this lesson, you're going to need to go up to the menu where it says View, and in the drop-down menu, choose Present so that you can see this as a full screen. We're going to read the information up here at the top of the page, and you read along silently as I read it aloud. Plural nouns name more than one person, place, thing, or idea. To make most nouns plural, we just add S. We add ES to nouns that end in CH, S, SH, or X. And then we're going to change Y to I and add ES to nouns ending in a consonant Y pattern. Irregular plural nouns do not follow regular patterns. These nouns are often spelled alike, whether they are singular or plural. Now we're going to go over here on the left-hand side of the page, and we're going to read the word lists. I want you to read the lists aloud along with me, and we're going to start with the pattern words. Onions, salmon, aircraft, reflexes, offspring, countries, garnishes, kindnesses, businesses, dictionaries, sandwiches, missionaries. All right, we're going to go to the content word list. Vernal, annual, gardening, springtime, Christianity, precipitation, and resurrection. You'll notice that Christianity starts with a capital C because that's a proper noun. All right, go to the vocabulary word list. We've got juvenile or juvenile, rejuvenate, vivacious, and vivid. All right, click the down arrow to see the next slide. All right, now we're going to talk about the most common way that we make nouns plural, and that's just to add the letter S. So if you'll notice in this first word, onion, onion is singular. So I might say I went to the store and I bought an onion, or I bought one onion. That's singular. But if I said I went to the store and I bought 10 onions, the only way I make onions plural there is I just add the letter S to the end of the word. Some words have to have ES on the end of them to make them plural. So I might be really busy working one day and I might get hungry and I might say, oh, I want a sandwich. Sandwich is singular. But let's say I start eating and I find out that I'm really, really hungry and I decide to eat 2 sandwiches. To make the word sandwich plural, I add ES onto the end of it. I add ES because sandwich is a word that ends in CH, and the rule is if a word ends in CH, we make it plural by adding the letters ES. All right, the word kindness is singular, but if somebody really treats me with kindness in several different ways, I could say they showed me kindness as. Okay, again, we add ES because the rule says if the word ends in SS, we add ES to make it plural. The word business is the same way. Business ends with SS, so we're going to add ES to make that word plural, businesses. Right, the word garnish. A garnish is like what's on the side of a plate when you go to eat at a restaurant, and say they might put a piece of lettuce on the side of the plate. That would be a garnish. Okay, so let's say I went to a restaurant and they put one piece of lettuce on my plate. That would be a garnish. It's put on there to make the plate look appetizing and beautiful. But let's say they put a piece of lettuce and they put a rose made out of a vegetable like a radish. That would be two garnishes on the plate. Garnishes is the plural. We add es because garnish ends in the letters sh. So ch, ss, and sh words all end in es to make them plural. Reflex. I caught the ball by reflex. Okay? Or I could say, my reflexes were heightened because I was scared and my endocrine system kicked in. Okay? We make reflex plural to reflexes because reflex ends with the letter X. So therefore, the rule says we add ES to make that plural. All right, let's go on to the next section, and that's where we would, if a word ends with a Y, we're going to change the Y to I before we add ES, and that would be a word like country. The United States is a country, but if I wanted to talk about the countries of North America, then I would say Canada, the United States, and Mexico are the countries of North America. Countries is plural. We change the Y to I and add ES. Dictionary. All right, so if we think about Mrs. Granger from Frindle, she really liked the dictionary. But I bet if we went into her classroom, we would find not just one single dictionary on her shelf, but we would find many dictionaries on her shelf. Dictionary is singular. Dictionaries is plural. The rule says we change the Y to I and add ES to make it plural. Same thing with missionary. Okay, so we have learned about several missionaries in social studies. We know that, gosh, I've gone blank. Who's a missionary? We know that Hannah Peck is a missionary in Portland, Oregon, but we've learned about several different missionaries. We learned about John and Betty Stam, who were missionaries to China. Missionary, singular, like Hannah is one singular missionary in Portland, Oregon, but John and Betty Stam were plural, two missionaries that traveled to China. Missionaries. Change the Y to I and add ES. All right, and then we have in English those things that just don't fit into the regular rule categories, and we call those irregulars. Okay, and so for our purposes here, the words that stay the same, whether they're in their singular form or their plural form, those are called irregular plurals. So that would be like the word salmon. I could have one salmon, I could have 10 salmon, or there could be 1,000 salmon swimming in the ocean. Aircraft. Okay, a helicopter is an aircraft. Okay, that's one type of aircraft, but helicopters, drones, airplanes, rockets, those are all different types of aircraft. So aircraft can be singular or it can be plural, talking about different types of aircraft. Offspring. Each one of you are an offspring of your parents. Okay? You might be the only child in your family, so therefore you are your parents' only offspring. But you might be one of 2 or 3 or even more offspring of your parents. So offspring can be singular or it can be plural. If I think about my children, my daughter Emily, my oldest daughter, the one that just moved from Kansas, she was my first offspring, but my husband and I have 3 offspring: Emily, Hannah, and Sarah. All right, that's it for today.